Have you ever looked in a mirror and felt like something else was looking back? Not just your own eyes, but a presence, something cold, ancient, and watchful, lurking just beneath the surface of the glass. Not just your reflection, but something cold and watchful. Something that seems to know you, even when you try to look away. Most mirrors just show you what's there. They're harmless, ordinary, just glass and silver, reflecting back the world as it is. But the mirror I found wasn't like that. This mirror remembered you. It watched you. It seemed to hold on to every glance, every secret, every fear you tried to hide. And once it had you, it followed you everywhere. No matter where you went, you'd catch a glimpse of it. Sometimes in places it shouldn't be. You couldn't escape it, not even by closing your eyes. Its memory lingered, haunting your thoughts, waiting for you to look again. It all started the summer I turned 16, when my parents left me at Grandma's house. I thought it would be a boring, quiet summer. How wrong I was. Her place was a 3-story Victorian monster, creaking and groaning with every gust of wind, filled with antiques under white sheets, like a silent army of ghosts. Every room felt like it was holding its breath. The attic was strictly off limits, which only made me more curious. There was something about that forbidden door that called to me. My story isn't just about a creepy house. It's about the secrets that hide in the shadows, waiting for someone to find them. It's about what I found there, a tall, dark mirror waiting in the attic. It was as if it had been waiting for me specifically. It waited for someone curious, someone who didn't listen to warnings, someone who would dare to look a little too closely. If I'd known what that mirror was capable of, I would have run and never looked back. But I stayed. I was drawn in, unable to resist. And I learned the hard way that some reflections are more than just glass and silver. Some reflections are hungry. They reach out, searching for something only you can give. And they are always, always watching. Even when you think you're alone, you're not. That summer, I discovered the mirror's secret. Its power was more than just a trick of the light or a figment of my imagination. It didn't just show your face, it remembered your soul. It held onto a piece of you long after you'd walked away. And once it had you, it never let go. No matter how hard you tried to forget, it would always find a way back into your life. I wish I could forget what I saw in that glass, but some things, once seen, can never be unseen. But the mirror never forgets. It waits, patient and silent, for the next person to look too long and see too much. The first days at Grandma's were boring, but the house wouldn't leave me alone. Whispers slithered through the vents, too faint to understand but enough to make my skin crawl. On the third day, curiosity won. Grandma was out and the house was silent. I crept up to the attic, heart pounding. The attic was a shadowy cavern packed with junk and creepy dolls. In the darkest corner stood a large object under a heavy white sheet. I felt a strange pull, a silent invitation. I reached out and pulled back the sheet. Underneath was a massive antique mirror, carved with strange symbols. Even covered, it felt like it was waiting for me. "What are you doing up there?" Grandma's voice cut through the silence. I scrambled out, heart racing. She knew exactly where I'd been. In the kitchen over trembling cups of tea, she told me the mirror's story. It belonged to Margaret Hale, who became obsessed with it, until she vanished, leaving only a diary. She looks just like me, but her eyes are so old. Tonight she's invited me in. Grandma's eyes were wide with fear. They say Margaret's spirit is trapped in there, waiting for someone to take her place. She made me promise never to uncover the mirror. I promised. but the story only made me more curious. Some warnings are impossible to ignore. I couldn't stop thinking about the mirror and Margaret's diary. That night, the house was alive with creaks and groans. Midnight struck. I slipped out of bed, heart hammering, and crept to the attic. The mirror stood in the corner, shrouded and waiting. My hands trembled as I yanked the sheet off. For the first time, I saw what lay beneath a mirror so dark and deep, it looked like a pool of water. I leaned closer, flashlight in hand. My reflection stared back, just me. I let out a shaky breath, almost laughing at my fear. But then something changed. My reflection blinked a moment too late. And then it smiled, a slow, knowing smile I hadn't made. The dare had just begun. The mirror's frame was covered in carvings that seemed to absorb the light, swallowing every glimmer and leaving only shadows behind. The glass was impossibly clean, almost black, as if it was a pool of ink rather than a reflection. It felt like it was waiting for something. I made faces, waved. My reflection copied me, just as it always had, until suddenly it didn't. I blinked, but my reflection's eyes stayed open, staring back at me with a cold intensity, then blinked late, as if it was thinking for itself. I tried again. This time, my reflection smiled, a slow, deliberate smile I didn't make, one that sent chills down my spine. Terror washed over me. The girl in the mirror was moving on her own, her gestures no longer matching mine, as if she had her own will. I stumbled back, grabbed the sheet, and threw it over the glass, desperate to hide that impossible reflection from view. I fled the attic, heart racing, my breath coming in short, panicked bursts as I escaped the darkness. But the image of that smile haunted me, lingering in my mind long after I left the room. That night, I realized, chilled to the bone, that the monster was my own reflection, something twisted and wrong inside the glass. I tried to convince myself it was a trick of the light, a fleeting illusion, but doubt gnawed at me. But deep down, I knew the truth. Something had changed, and I could feel it watching me. The mirror had noticed me, and its attention was heavy, almost suffocating, and it wasn't going to let go. I could feel its presence, lurking just beyond the glass. I was no longer alone in my own skin. The girl in the glass was awake, and she was here to stay. I didn't sleep. The hours crawled by, each minute stretching into eternity as I lay frozen, listening to the silence press in around me. Every shadow twisted into the shape of that smiling girl, her presence lurking just beyond the edge of sight, making the darkness feel alive. The next morning, I avoided mirrors, but I had to face one in the bathroom. My heart pounded as I stepped closer, dreading what I might see. My reflection looked normal until I noticed her hair was wet, her skin pale, her eyes too wide, as if she just emerged from some dark place. She mimicked me, but with a delay, a cruel smile flickering at the edges, as if she was waiting for me to notice her game. Soon she was everywhere, the TV screen, her face flickering in the glass, even when it was off, the toaster, even a spoon. No surface was safe. Every reflection became a window for her to watch me. She was always there, a ghostly twin growing bolder, her presence tightening around me like a cold fog. Her hair was always stringy and wet, clinging to her face as if she just crawled out of water. Her smile, when it came, was slow and cruel, promising something terrible I couldn't name. I felt myself fading, becoming a ghost in my own life, my sense of self slipping away with every glance. The haunting wasn't just in the attic anymore. It had followed me, seeping into every corner of my world. It was in every reflection, multiplying, surrounding me until I couldn't tell what was real. And she was becoming more real while I was slipping away, my own image growing fainter each day. I was losing myself to the girl in the glass, her world pulling me in as mine faded into shadows. The girl in the mirror grew bolder, her delay more pronounced. Sometimes she wouldn't copy me at all, just watched, smirking. I stopped looking in mirrors, but I could feel her presence everywhere. At night, I dreamed of drowning while she lived my life. Then, my body started betraying me, a twitch, a smile I didn't feel. I was becoming a passenger, and she was taking the wheel. I couldn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? The secret festered, eating away at my sanity. I was trapped, isolated with a ghostly twin stealing my life. How do you fight yourself? The final night, I woke in the attic, standing before the mirror. I hadn't walked there. My body had moved on its own. The girl in the mirror looked calm, real, wearing my pajamas. She pressed her palm to the glass. My hand moved to meet hers. A blinding light erupted. I felt myself pulled apart, then reassembled. When I could see again, I was inside the mirror, translucent, silent. On the other side, the girl stretched in my body, smiled, and walked away. I screamed, but no one heard. I was the new ghost in the mirror, just like Margaret Hale. I was the new reflection. My life was stolen, and I was trapped in glass. The cycle had claimed me. My life as a reflection is a silent, lonely prison. The imposter lives my life, fooling everyone. She collects mirrors, filling the house with them. In their reflections, I see other trapped souls, a boy, an old man, Margaret Hale. We are her collection, a gallery of stolen lives. The mirror is a gateway for a creature that steals lives, creating more prisons. The girl who stole my life was once a victim too. Now she sets out more mirrors, preparing to trap others. I can only watch, unable to warn anyone. So I'm sending this warning the only way I can. Be careful when you look in the mirror. Watch your reflection closely. If you ever see your reflection smile before you do, run. Shatter the glass if you have to, before it invites you in.